In a boost to relationship with Caribbean countries, Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets leaders of Caricom group of countries, announces $14 million grant and $150 million line of credit to the group. In an exclusive talk with DD News, Antiguan Prime Minister says Mehul Choksi's extradition is just matter of time. Says after Choksi exhausts procedure of appeal, he will be handed over to the Indian authority. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says there is no country other than Pakistan which uses terrorism consciously and deliberately as a large-scale industry. Terms Pakistan as a challenging neighbor. Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi says no extension of Ayodhya hearing beyond October 18th. All parties must conclude their arguments before the designated date. In Britain, ruling Conservative Party to bring another resolution for a short adjournment of Parliament next week. Prime Minister Boris Johnson reiterated his government's resolve of Brexit by October 31st with or without the deal. Hello, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. The first ever meeting of India CARICOM leaders took place in New York on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Leaders or representatives of 15 Caribbean countries attended the meeting hosted by India. India shares historic and warm ties and cultural bonds with the Caribbean countries.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with leaders of the Caribbean community and common market during the first ever India CARICOM Leaders Summit in New York. The focus of the meeting was on fighting climate change and increasing India's participation with the grouping. In his opening remarks, Prime Minister Modi said that India and CARICOM nations currently face challenges like climate change and those related to socio-economic issues like poverty alleviation. He underlined the need to focus on dealing with these challenges with the experience of the past, needs of the present and future aspirations.
भारत और कैरिकॉम नेताओं की यह पहली बैठक एक महत्वपूर्ण पहल है। हमारे देश क्लाइमेट चेंज और सामाजिक आर्थिक विकास से जुड़ी चुनौतियों जैसे गरीबी उन्मूलन आदि का सामना कर रहे हैं। आज की बैठक का फोकस कैरिकॉम देशों के साथ भारत की भागीदारी को अतीत के अनुभव, वर्तमान की आवश्यकताओं और भविष्य की आकांक्षाओं के अनुसार एनर्जाइज करना है।
Chair of the India CARICOM Leaders Meet, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Alan Chestnut, said it was a great opportunity for both India and CARICOM to exchange ideas on important issues.
I think I speak on behalf of all my colleagues when I say that the most important question to ask is how come it took us so long to get together. Given our cultural ties, our historical ties, and clearly, as you've outlined, many of the common issues that we have to confront on a global and geopolitical basis.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated India's firm commitment to strengthen its political, economic and cultural engagement with CARICOM. He invited CARICOM countries to join the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. The Prime Minister also announced $14 million grant for community development projects in the CARICOM region and another $150 million line of credit for solar and renewable energy and climate change related projects. He also announced the setting up of a regional center for excellence in information technology in Georgetown, Guyana, and the regional vocational training center in Belize by upgrading the existing India-funded centers in these countries. CARICOM leaders welcomed the Indian initiatives to strengthen cooperation and reassured full support from their respective governments. With Bureau Inputs, Arun Sharma's report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's engagements in New York with special focus on business, trade and investment ties continued during the interaction with top American business leaders at the CEO's roundtable. The Prime Minister urged them to leverage Startup India innovation platforms to formulate solutions for the entire world on challenging issues like nutrition and waste management.
Showcasing India as an attractive destination for doing business, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired an exclusive roundtable with 42 global CEOs and top executives from across 20 sectors. PM at the CEO roundtable emphasized on continued political stability in India, predictability of policy, and pro-development and pro-growth policies. He highlighted steps taken by India to build a $5 trillion economy and stressed that global business community is upbeat about the India success story. Business leaders complimented Prime Minister Modi on taking strong and comprehensive decisions with a focus on ease of doing business and making India more investor-friendly.
Our firm has been investing in India since 1996. We find it a place of very productive people, very growth-oriented, very creative entrepreneurs and managers, and we think that some of the Prime Minister's initiatives have supported that growth, and we're looking forward to it accelerating in coming years.
It was an excellent opportunity to hear from the Prime Minister. So many of the business leaders in the room expressed their gratitude for the way he works with business and for the relationship that he's built.
We're going to hire 76,000 people in the next 3 years, so we are very bullish on India.
Well, they continue to grow. We've been a long-term partner with India in the technology space. It will continue. We're looking forward to 5G launching.
Recently, the identification of a new taxation infrastructure for corporations and the angel taxation scenario with new startups in 2019 is going to really stimulate American interest in India.
It was filled with the optimism and the potential of the U.S.-India relationship, how the regulatory stability, the policy coherence, the continued focus on opening up avenues for investment, how all of these things can really push India's growth and also bring about more opportunity for the Indian people.
All the way from startups of digital to defense manufacturing into agriculture, food supply chain. So I think it's a full plethora of opportunity, and the Prime Minister did mention that until 2025 there's an opportunity of almost $4.8 trillion, and US companies are very keen to grab those opportunities.
The leaders also expressed their commitment towards the growth story of India and assured continued expansion of their footprint in India. With Arun Sharma's report from New York, Bureau Report, DD News.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with leaders of Belgium, Armenia, New Zealand and Estonia on the sidelines of the UNGA. The Prime Minister with his Armenian counterpart, Nikol Pashinyan, discussed furthering of the bilateral cooperation, especially in trade and culture. Both the leaders discussed ways to expand trade and investment. Discussion on cooperation in the field of film production was also held between the two leaders, given the age-old ties of India and Armenia. With the aim of further boosting bilateral ties, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his New Zealand counterpart Jacinta Arden in New York on the margins of the UNGA. Both the leaders discussed ways to boost strategic ties and deepen cooperation in various areas. The two leaders also held discussions on regional issues and on the issue of counter-terrorism. Strengthening valued friendship, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met President of Estonia, Kersti Kaljulaid, in New York. Both the leaders had a fruitful discussion on deepening the age-old relationship between the two countries. And with the aim of connecting with a European Union partner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with his Belgium counterpart, Charles Michel. Both the leaders had an engaging conversation on expanding the warm and friendly bilateral relations. The two leaders agreed to intensify their efforts on early conclusion of negotiations on the bilateral investment and trade agreement, connectivity, closer cooperation on counterterrorism, multilateral institutions and migration and mobility. Prime Minister Modi congratulated Charles Michel on his election as the President of the European Council. And Prime Minister will also meet President of Cyprus on the sidelines of the UNGA summit in New York. Relations between India and Cyprus have been traditionally very close and friendly. Cyprus has staunchly supported India on all issues of importance, including publicly endorsing its support to India's bid for a permanent seat in the reformed UNSC. India has named an venue in New Delhi after Archbishop Makarios. And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today lashed out at Pakistan at the Council on Foreign Relations program in New York. He said that there is no country other than Pakistan which uses terrorism consciously and deliberately as a large-scale industry against its neighbor. He added that no talks can take place with a country that follows a policy of implausible deniability.
You have terrorism in different parts of the world, but there's no part of the world where a country uses it consciously, deliberately as a large-scale industry against its neighbor. So for me, the issue is not do you talk to them, don't you talk to them. Of course, everybody wants to talk to the neighbor. The issue is how do I talk to a country that is conducting terrorism and which frankly I would say follows a policy of implausible deniability. That, they do it, they kind of pretend they don't do it, they know that that pretense is not serious, but yet they do it. So how do you address that? I think it's a huge challenge for us.
And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar attended the G4 meeting in New York, which is the meeting of the foreign ministers of India, Japan, Germany and Brazil. The leaders during the meeting reviewed the progress of intergovernmental negotiations, besides discussions on other issues of mutual interest. The External Affairs Minister also held bilateral meetings with his counterparts from China, Australia and Ukraine and discussed a variety of issues such as energy, technology and boosting bilateral ties. The External Affairs Minister said that his meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi was helpful in stock-taking of the relationship. With the Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne, Jaishankar had a productive meeting and the two sides agreed to work together to enhance quality of ties. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that India is committed towards taking actions to tackle climate change. However, developed nations should also fulfill their commitments to provide resources. In an exclusive interview with DD News in New York, the minister said that India is no more a backbencher but is playing a leadership role on climate change.
भारत ने एक मैसेज दिया है कि भारत पर्यावरण के प्रति न केवल जागरूक है, पर्यावरण के बचाव के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है और अपनी पूरी रिसोर्सेस उसके लिए लगा रहे हैं। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ हम ये भी कह रहे हैं कि भाई दुनिया के विकसित देशों की ये जिम्मेवारी है कि वो अपनी आर्थिक मदद ज़्यादा करना चाहिए। नए शोध होंगे वो कम कीमत में सभी देशों को मिलने चाहिए। ये जब होगा तभी ये परिवर्तन पूरा होगा, क्योंकि जागरूकता तो आ गई है। जागरूकता आ गई है, सभी लोग मानते हैं, लेकिन रिसोर्सेज की कमी है, इसलिए वो रिसोर्सेज देना बहुत जरूरी है।
And speaking exclusively to DD News, Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Browne said that fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi will soon be extradited to India. Browne added that Indian investigators are free to come and interrogate the fugitive businessman. He further said that Mehul Choksi is a crook and will eventually be repatriated. It is just a matter of time once he exhausts his legal options there.
We're a country of laws. We have an independent judiciary, and the matter is before the courts. So the executive has no locus in the matter. As you know, criminals also have the right to due process. And he has several appeals. Until he would have exhausted all of his appeals, there's nothing that we can do. And after he would have exhausted all of his appeals, you can be assured that he will be extradited. He will be repatriated back to India to answer charges against him. He was allegedly a crook. If we had known that the gentleman was a crook, there's no way he would have gotten Antiguan citizenship. He will be repatriated. He will be literally sent back to India to answer charges, because he brings no value to Antigua and Barbuda.
The Enforcement Directorate moved an application in the Delhi High Court against Robert Vadra, in which the agency is seeking custodial interrogation. The Enforcement Directorate says that he is not cooperating in the probe. Vadra is on anticipatory bail and the next date of hearing is 5th of November. Supreme Court has asked And the Supreme Court has asked all parties in Ayodhya land dispute case to specify the time frame for completing the argument, saying that there will not be any extra day after 18th of October. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi was told by senior advocate Rajiv Dhawan that they do not wish to question the authorship of the summary of the ASI report. And second edition of the India-Singapore joint hackathon would be held at IIT Madras on 28th and 29th of September. A total of 20 teams will try to find solutions to problems related to health, education, clean energy during this 36-hour-long hackathon. Each team will have 6 members, including 3 students from India and 3 from Singapore. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will award the winners on 30th of September.
Totally there are 20 teams which are shortlisted, they are participating. And as you know, hackathon is a non-stop coding process, and at the end of this, there will be 4 prizes: first, second, third, fourth. First prize gets $10,000, then 8,000, 6,000, and 4,000. Then there are other prizes of $2,000 also for the persons who are participated. Then all these prize winners will be given prizes by Prime Minister. He is visiting IIT Madras on 30th of this month.
And President Ramnath today inaugurated the National Seminar on Spirituality for Human and Social Development to mark the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The seminar was organized by Ahimsa Vishwa Bharati at Dr. Ambedkar International Centre in New Delhi. The President urged youth to actively participate in programs encouraging non-violence.
महात्मा गांधी का अहिंसा दर्शन पूरे विश्व के लिए उपयोगी है। साथ ही ये विश्व स्तर पर गांधी जी के लिए हम सबके और पूरी मानवता के गहरे सम्मान का एक प्रमाण भी। मुझे ये देखकर प्रसन्नता होती है कि गांधी जी के आदर्शों की प्रासंगिकता के लिए लोग सचेत भी हैं, सक्रिय भी हैं, और वो प्रासंगिकता जो 150 वर्ष पहले थी, वो प्रासंगिकता आज भी बनी हुई है। मुझे विश्वास है कि उन मूल्यों के प्रति सजगता और कर्मठता हमारे देश को तथा पूरे विश्व को बेहतर बनाएगी।
Addressing the conference, Union Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot said that on the occasion of 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the country is carrying forward Gandhiji's views on cleanliness and the nation is being freed of the menace of open defecation.
जब बापू की 150वीं जयंती मनाएंगे तो हम उन्हें न केवल खुले में शौच से मुक्त भारत समर्पित करेंगे, जबकि उस दिन पूरे देश में भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के आह्वान पर प्लास्टिक के खिलाफ एक नए जन आंदोलन की नींव रखेंगे। मैं समाज के सभी वर्गों से अपील करता हूं कि इस वर्ष गांधी जयंती भारत माता को प्लास्टिक कचरे से मुक्ति के रूप में मनाएं।
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today felicitated the mother of freedom fighter and 2 war-injured soldiers in Pune. Vice President also conferred Punya Bhushan Award to prominent archaeologist Dr. G.B. Deglurkar for his commendable contribution in the field of Indian archaeology. While addressing the gathering on the occasion, Vice President highlighted the importance of India's heritage, history and culture. He said that it is the responsibility of every citizen to protect and preserve the monuments.
India is a vast and culturally rich nation. As on January 2019, we have more than 3,600 monuments of national importance protected and preserved by the Archaeological Survey of India. These archaeological sites are relics of our past and symbols of our cultural expressions. Our glorious history is embedded in these structures. History and culture belong to everybody. People's participation is essential in strengthening the government's efforts in conservation of important archaeological sites. It is the responsibility of every citizen of the country to protect and preserve the monuments and pass on them to the future generation.
Vice President also extended his greetings to all the recipients of the award. He pitched to remain connected with the roots of our culture and heritage. The Vice President said that irrespective of caste, religion, creed and sex, all Indians are one.
We should develop an attitude that irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, India is one. We are one nation, we are one people, whatever may be the caste, whatever may be the religion. Religion is a puja paddhati. What we are stressing is culture. Culture is a way of life. If you know the history through archaeology, if you know how our society have lived earlier, and if you educate our younger generation, motivate them to follow the same path, India will become strong and stable.
Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshwardhan, launched the TB Harega Desh Jeetega campaign in New Delhi. He also awarded states and union territories for exemplary performance in tackling tuberculosis and also released the TB India Report 2019.
Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshwardhan, launched the TB Harega Desh Jeetega campaign in New Delhi. On the occasion, he flagged off the National TB Prevalence Survey vans.
सब मरीजों के लिए सारी की सारी दवाइयाँ किसी भी प्रकार की टीबी हो, वो इलाज सरकार में करा रहा हो, सरकारी अस्पताल में करा रहा हो या प्राइवेट अस्पताल में करा रहा हो या किसी प्राइवेट डॉक्टर की क्लिनिक पे करा रहा हो, सरकार की योजना में सबको पूरी की पूरी दवाई की उपलब्धता कराने का काम इस हमारे प्रोग्राम में टीबी हारेगा देश जीतेगा हमने व्यवस्था कर दी है। हम चाहते हैं कि सारा देश एक बार इस कैंपेन में लग जाए। अगर भारत चेचक और पोलियो जैसी बीमारी को जड़ से समाप्त कर सकता है तो वो फिर टीबी को भी जो है हरा सकता है, इसमें हमें कोई संदेह नहीं।
On the occasion, Union Minister also launched the TB India Report 2019 on the status of TB control activities in the country. The major highlights of the TB India Report 2019 on notification rates states that 21.5 lakh TB cases were notified in 2018 due to the impact of important policy initiatives. 25% cases being notified from the private sector. 79% patients notified for TB in 2017 have successfully completed their treatment. 49,733 cases were detected by active case finding campaign. Direct benefit transfer for Nikshay Poshan Yojana is benefiting several patients in their nutritional assistance. On the expansion of access to services, the report states that 90 lakh patients are on fixed dose combinations, which is free for all patients. Interventions and joint activities have helped reducing TB-related fatalities by 82% from 2010. States performing well in the field of TB eradication were also awarded, while Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh were awarded in the category of states with population more than 50 lakhs. Tripura and Sikkim got the award in the category of states with less than 50 lakhs population. In the category of union territories, Daman and Diu and Puducherry were awarded for their exemplary work in eradicating tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis is one of the deadliest diseases and it is one of the major challenges that India faces in the healthcare sector. While the world has pledged to eliminate TB by 2030, India is working on a mission mode, applying aggressive strategies, working with stakeholders and creating a public revolution, a Jan Andolan, to eradicate TB, to eliminate TB by 2025, which is 5 years prior to the global target. With camera person S. J. Shankar, Meghna Dev, DD News, New Delhi.
ISRO Chairman K. Sivan has said that a plan is being worked out for moon mission in future after Vikram lander of Chandrayaan-2 had a hard landing. He said the orbiter of Chandrayaan-2 is doing very well and all the payload operations have commenced. He also said that ISRO is working out a detailed future plan and a national level committee has been formed to find out what went wrong with Vikram lander, and once the committee submits its report, ISRO will work on what to do in future. Dr. Sivan was talking to media at Ahmedabad Airport.
The orbiter is doing very well and all satellite operations are, payload operations are commenced and it is extremely doing well. And lander, that is that we have got now no signal, but orbiter is working very well. National level committee is now analyzing what really gone wrong with the lander. Maybe after the committee submitted the report, then we will be working on what is the future plan.
In international news, the UK House of Commons leader Rees-Mogg has said that the ruling Conservative Party will ask lawmakers to approve a short adjournment of Parliament next week to allow the party to hold its annual conference. He said that Parliament would also hold a general debate on the principles of democracy and the rights of the electorate. Earlier, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson had said that he would not seek an extension to Brexit even if the conditions of a recently passed bill were met, forcing him to do so. Opposition parties recently forced through a new law requiring the government to ask for a delay to Brexit beyond the deadline of October 31st if it fails to secure a deal by October 19th or the support of Parliament to leave without one. Johnson was forced to cut short his visit to the United Nations in New York to return to the Commons after the UK's highest court ruled his decision to suspend Parliament was unlawful. That's it in this edition of the news this hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.